Last time I went to Sam's Club, I grabbed this 12-pound bag of black beans for only $11. This is going to can up into dozens of jars of beans, and they're gonna cost pennies compared to store-bought. With that $11 bag of beans, I was able to can all of these jars, and I didn't just do plain black beans, which I did do those, but I also did a seasoned Tex-Mex black bean and a ready-to-eat black bean soup. If I would have had to purchase all of this that I made today, at my local Walmart, it would have added up to over $130 of product. First thing you're gonna do is just wash your beans really well. Then I'm gonna cover these beans completely with water and let them soak overnight. This step is not one to skip, although I know you probably have seen a lot of people do that, but this is the secret to ensuring that you have the perfect texture of bean once they're canned, as well as making sure that you have fully swollen beans going into your jars so you have the right amount of bean to liquid ratio. It is the next day. These beans have been soaking overnight and they are swollen and ready to start in the canning process. All I need to do now is just rinse them really good and then drain off all of this water. First up is just some plain black beans. We're gonna fill our clean canning jars about 3/4 of the way full of beans. Each pint is gonna get 1/2 teaspoon of salt. And then we'll just top them off with water. And then we're just gonna clean these rims. Put on a brand new lid and a clean ring fingertip tight. And then we're gonna get our pressure canner ready to go. Now, if you are new to pressure canning, I know it can seem scary if you have never done it before, but I promise it's super simple. You do need a pressure canner, obviously. That is what this is. You're gonna need a little piece to go inside your pressure canner. That's gonna keep your jars from sitting directly against the heat. Any pressure canner that you buy new from the store is going to have this, but if you get one used and it doesn't have that piece, I have seen people just use canning rings in the bottom of their canner. Just set those around so none of the jars sit flat on the bottom. But anyways, this is gonna go in. You're gonna put in the amount of water that your pressure canner specifically calls for. Mine has a little line to mark the place where it goes. And that's it. These jars are ready to go in. We are just gonna bring this up to heat. It's gonna start spewing out some steam out of this little piece out of the top. We're gonna let it do that for 10 minutes and then we will put on the weight. Once it starts rocking, we will start our time. The next kind of beans that we are gonna make is a Tex-Mex style of black beans. These are amazing as a side dish to any Mexican inspired meal that you are making, of course, especially tacos. But they're also really good just thrown over some white rice with a squeeze of lime juice. I just did the last big pick from my garden. If you didn't see that, I'll make sure and link it in the description so you can go back and watch. But I came out with a ton of peppers, and so I am just gonna put those to good use by making a just blended up mixture of peppers and onions. It's gonna add so much flavor. I have pretty much all sweet peppers here because my kids and I don't really like spicy food, but I did grab just 3 small jalapenos that I'm gonna add as well. I think with the volume of peppers that I'm doing, 3 small peppers isn't gonna make it spicy, but it's just gonna add a tiny bit of heat and flavor. This is chopped up perfectly. This is what it's looking like. I went a little bit less full with these beans just so I would have plenty of room for seasonings, but I'm gonna go in with 2 tablespoons of this bell pepper onion mixture. I just realized I wasn't filming, but I did half a teaspoon of salt, half a teaspoon of garlic powder, half a teaspoon of chili powder, and now we're gonna go in with half a teaspoon of cumin, half a teaspoon of some smoked paprika, and then half a teaspoon of oregano. I am using some that I freeze dried from my garden this summer. And then to finish it up, half a teaspoon of onion powder. I am using this purple onion powder that I freeze dried. These Tex-Mex seasoned black beans are gonna go in the pressure canner, and they will can for the exact same amount of time as the plain black beans that I have going in this pressure canner over here. This first canner has been releasing steam for 10 minutes now, so I'm just gonna go ahead and put that weight right on top. I'm canning this black bean soup in quart jars so that I just have to open one to feed my family. So I'm going in with 1 can of black beans, and then I'm going to go ahead and chop up a whole bunch of celery and carrots and get those browning in a pot along with those peppers and onions that we had in the food processor. My veggies have cooked down and caramelized just a bit. My onions are nice and translucent. So I'm gonna go ahead and go in with half a cup of veggies per jar. And of course, these are gonna get seasoned up really well. They're gonna get 1 teaspoon of salt, half a teaspoon of pepper, half a teaspoon of smoked paprika. I would do a whole teaspoon, but I don't think I have enough. Half a teaspoon of garlic. I'm gonna go in with a whole teaspoon of this purple, it's really red onions, but it looks purple. So purple onion powder, a whole teaspoon of cumin. And then I'm gonna harvest some cilantro from my Let Pot hydroponic system. I went out to the garden and grabbed some more because I am a cilantro girl. I like it in large amounts. If you think cilantro tastes like soap, feel free to leave this out, but I think that it adds a ton of bright, fresh flavor. And then I'm just gonna kind of evenly split this up between the jars. Each jar is gonna get a teaspoon of bouillon powder, about a teaspoon of lime juice, Then we're gonna go ahead and just top each jar with water. And this is gonna be some of the most flavorful black bean soup you have ever had. All right, this first canner that just has plain black beans in it is finished. So we're gonna carefully take the lid off. When you open this up, you're gonna open it away from yourself. And our jars are beautiful. They look full of beans. There's not like tons of open space. I can tell by looking into my canner pot that I did have some siphoning. I see a little bit of like bean juice in there, but that is okay. All right, I am gonna dump this water out and refill it with new cold water, and we're gonna get started canning our soup. I feel like this soup needs just a little bit of appreciation before I put it in the canner. It is so pretty already. All right, again, we are gonna just repeat that whole process. We're gonna heat this until steam comes out, let it vent for 10 minutes, and then we will put our weight on. We're gonna wait for that to start rocking, and these are quarts, so instead of 75 minutes, they are gonna can for 90 minutes. Once I take that lid off, I just let them set for, I don't know, 3 minutes or so to let them kind of adjust to the much cooler temperature. If you take them out too early, like right away, I have had them kind of siphon and spew around the lid a bit. And so obviously I don't want to get burned. So I'm just gonna let them hang out for a sec. So with just $11 plus several hours of my time, I was able to make all of this food, over $130 of bean products. Plus, these taste way better than anything I could have bought at the store, and I know every single ingredient that is in them. If you like these videos, make sure to hit like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Turn on that notification bell so you get an alarm every time I put a video out. And check back in here in just a couple days for another one. Until I see you then, may God bless.